What's poppin', everybody? We're back for episode 2 of the Foul Plugs. I am David Drakes, along with my homeboy, Mr. Manny Thrasher. I should point the other way, right? This way, that way. Thank you guys for tuning in again. We had a lot of fun the first one. Really appreciate the support from our from the viewers, our regular supporters, as well as our amazing sponsors. Thank you so much, Manny. We have a lot to talk about. We got Loretta's stuff. We have the Pro National at Loretta's, actually, same track this weekend. We're getting into a lot of it. The program is up and going. The TCE MX Internship Program, rather, carry over from our Supercross program, where fans can literally be hands-on working with a professional rider. And we mean hands-on. You're helping with bike support. You're helping the mechanics, the team owners. You're helping with social media. You're behind the velvet rope. You're doing a lot of amazing things that you really can't do without this program. Trust me, a lot of people have gone on to go and work for pro teams, gear companies, wrenching for riders, you name it, they've done it. And we're very happy to be able to offer that to the industry and to the world. Manny has done it a couple times. Manny has probably gone on way more cooler excursions than I have, even as the owner. But it's super beneficial, guys. Please check out thecollectivexp.com, at the Collective EX on Instagram, and contact at the Collective XP. Drop us a line through email, DM us. We want to get you guys behind the scenes. It's limited for outdoors, but we still want to make sure that we stay open for you guys and give you guys an amazing experience. Manny, this week with Loretta's, like we said, too much to even cover, I feel like, but we're going to do our absolute best. Like, what was your thoughts on the whole week as a whole?
It was an action-packed week, honestly. Like, from top to bottom, every class had a lot of action going on. I mean, from all the way down to the 65 riders, all the way up to that open pro sport. I mean, me and you were talking all week about every moto. I was like, I was locked in the whole time. I don't know, what was the biggest thing I would say that caught your eye this year that was a surprise? Biggest
surprise, honestly, I would say every year, I think schoolboy and B class, those are the guys, right? Those are the fastest dudes usually. I was really shocked about the level of talent. Usually we see one or two guys that are like, clear favorites. No one could really judge it except for the obvious picks were Levi Kitchen, who just waxed the stock classes or the limited classes now, 250 and 450 side. He was gone. But if you look at 250B, the mod class, if you looked at 450B, even in the schoolboys, like, it was pretty open, man. There were freaking 5-6 guys in every class that could potentially win. It was hard to pick, and these guys were dicing. They were going 1-3-2s or 3-2-1s, and it was almost hard to call. So I would say the level of depth of the B class is as well as the talent that we saw that was mixed in. It's just, I don't think we've seen this good of a B class since 05, 06 maybe, like the graduating class. It was serious.
Yeah, this year, I mean, every year, I bring it up to you. I just say, watch the lap times of the 250B guys. And then it doesn't make any sense. Every year, these guys are like posting some of the fastest lap times of the day. And it's just like, it blows my mind.
It's crazy. So I heard that Kitchen pulled a 147. I'm not sure about what time of the day it was. I heard 147. I'm not sure if that's legit. It could be somebody just gassing somebody up. But if 147 was the lap time from somebody, that is ungodly fast at the ranch. I mean, that is superhuman speed. Literally, I'm thinking you might have hit the brakes twice on the whole entire track if you're pulling a 147. Averages were about 150, 149, 151 from halfway through the day when the track starts breaking down. So, and those were just ridiculously fast. So, but man, I'll kick it back to you. What was one thing that you noticed that kind of stood out to you about this entire week?
I would say the biggest thing I think that a lot of people had their eyes on was, who was gonna go 6 for 6.
Yep.
There was a lot of people this year, that came into Loretta's, had their eye on 6 for 6. So I think that was kind of, it's crazy that's becoming, like the new norm. It's who can go 6 for 6, who can go undefeated in Loretta's and really make themselves. And just to watch Ryder obviously do it and see Hayden, smoke the 85 class. It was cool to watch.
Oh, definitely, man. I mean, anytime a rider goes like double moto win number one, and then do a 6 for 6 or even a 3 for 3, like
Yeah.
that's insane. That I don't think people realize just
Yeah.
how good you have to be to make it to Loretta's. Number
Yeah.
one, to get in the top 10 of Loretta's. Number one, to win, and then to win continuously. It's all of that. Everything has to line up perfectly. Your preparation has to be on point. Your bike has to be on point. The crew you're with, your support has to be on point. So it's a huge undertaking, man, and you know, you got to give it up to the guys that did it. Looking at like Ryder D, Deegan, Kitchen,
Yep.
all those guys that just crush it like that. That's pretty remarkable. So, Manny, where do you want to start first, man? There's so much to talk about. Where are we going with this one?
Let's just start with Open Pro Sport. Let's start at the top
Okay.
and work our way back.
Okay.
Styles Robinson. Styles Robinson. Everybody had their eyes on this guy.
Yep.
I mean, he had to make something happen.
Yep.
And he got it done.
Yep. 100%. I mean, I don't think anybody would have doubted that he was going to come in and do really good. Obviously, Styles is a Rockstar support rider. He's going to be moving up to the big boy class pretty soon here. We all kind of knew that he was a past winner at the ranch before. But the way that he was riding, he looked like a seasoned vet. He didn't look like a young 16, 17-year-old dude. He looked like he was, you know, just as seasoned as his cohorts are going to be. Like a Moseman or like a Osborne. The guy was charging, didn't really seem to get too bogged down by the pressure at all. Even though he had some stiff competition, mainly Dylan Schwartz was there. I feel like for most of it. Then he had Gonzalez also. I think in the 250, or sorry, the Open. It was pretty amazing, man. I mean, the way that he was able to you know get the decent starts, stay consistent. Number two, and hold off those attackers because Schwartz and Gonzalez, those guys, they were charging. They are fast. They are some of the fastest amateurs you were going to see on a track in any given weekend. And I think they gave him all he could handle. But he came on top, man. It was really cool to see that.
Yeah, just to piggyback back off of what you're saying, yeah, he showed a lot of poise. You know, going into that third moto in Open Pro Sport, him and Mason Gonzalez were tied up,
Exactly.
and he showed a lot of poise. You know, getting into that moto, getting out to the front, and you know, just not throwing it away. And honestly, I'm excited to see him because I think he's racing this weekend as well.
Yep.
So I'm excited to see kind of what he does with the big boys. Obviously, you know, see where he falls in. You know.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I don't think he's gonna let us down in any regard. But it is fun to see how these fast amateurs how they acclimate to the new surrounding. Because you got to remember, these are guys they haven't raced before, and these are guys that they probably have on their walls back home and on their campers and stuff. So you know, it's a lot of pressure for these guys. It's a higher pace. Generally, like there's some instances where the kids come out swinging like, you know, Eli Tomac. But I mean, you get a new group of guys, and again, these aren't kids. These are guys. These are dudes. Got beards. They got bills to pay. They, you know what I mean? They're about their money. They, you know, they don't want some kid coming in taking the spot from them. So, you know, I think it's going to be interesting, man. I'm really excited to see all three, but Roberts, Gonzalez, and Schwartz. I'm excited to see how they're going to do.
Yeah, definitely.
Another question for you was, I know Suzuki catches a lot of flack through all the social media stuff, all the memes and everything. Dylan Schwartz rode that Suzuki really well. Do you think that he can carry that same I guess confidence, the same sort of results and stuff on that Suzuki? I mean, he seemed to really like it, but can he carry that over to the pros, you think?
Yeah, I think he made a really good argument, you know, for that Suzuki. He made it look good. I mean, honestly, out there, and nowadays you're not really used to seeing that yellow bike up front like that.
Nope.
So I mean,
Nope.
he really showed really good racecraft.
Yep.
And I mean, he had that bike on the edge, and it looked really good on the track, honestly. So I mean, normally, you know, you hear Suzuki, oh, they're slow, and nobody really pays attention to him. But I mean, honestly, I'm excited to see kind of what he can do, and we can get somebody to turn that around for them.
Oh yeah, I'm excited, man. I think I mean for the normal guys like you and myself, I don't think bikes really matter, right? It's pretty much pick what color you like. They're all fast. Yeah. I think once you start getting to the pro ranks, it matters, obviously. I mean, but I hope that Dylan kind of gives Dylan and a bunch of other riders. I know it helps Suzuki's. You know, they're having an outdoor campaign as well as JGR guys. I hope that, you know, this kind of like ignites a little bit of the younger guys to show them like, hey, Suzuki actually has a decent bike, and I hope that it
Yep.
ignites Suzuki to keep progressing and keep making their bikes better. I want to see, every year I want to be able to go into a dealer and be like, I don't know where I want to drop my $9,000. Is it going to be green, yellow, blue? I don't want to knock another manufacturer off the table. So yeah, shout out to Dylan Schwartz for making that happen and really putting a bike that a lot of people see as not that great and
Yep.
showing that it's actually a great bike. So super dope. All right, Manny, where are we going to next?
We can go knock down the 250B.
Okay.
Matthew LeBlanc getting it done.
Going to
Made the
250B.
Yamaha look good.
Oh, dude, definitely. I mean, so number one, we have, like you said, LeBlanc is the class winner. And
Yep.
again, this is 250B mod for all you old heads like me and Manny. So we have LeBlanc, Thrasher, and Hymas. This is one class that I think a lot of people were really anxious to see, and like we said earlier, it's so much parity in the class, right? There's 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that can win on any given weekend, or sorry, any given race, and then they start throwing things into the fray when they start going like 9, 1, 2, and you're like, oh man, maybe he does have a shot at this thing now. I can't write this one guy off, and the guy that got fifth, we can't say that he's not going to rebound and take a title because he still could. So that's one thing that was really interesting is you saw a lot of this here and there with moto finishes, and it just goes to show you how treacherous this track and competition is. Where you're not guaranteed to kick ass every moto. You can get a ninth and a fifth and a 17th and really mess things up. But yeah, going back to LeBlanc, super strong showing. Manny, the amateur scene better than anyone. In case you guys didn't know out there, Manny is the pulse on amateur racing. I kind of wrote LeBlanc off. I mean, not really wrote him off, but he wasn't on my radar coming into the ranch.
Yeah.
Do you think that people slept on him coming in?
I think so. I think he came into the ranch kind of with a little chip on his shoulder. I mean, it seems like coming in, all eyes was on Nathan Thrasher, yep. and obviously with that first moto ninth, it opened the door, and LeBlanc really took advantage of it. Obviously with Nathan winning the following 2 motos, it kind of put some pressure back on Matt, but yeah. I think he showed really well. He was able to roll up front and have a lot of poise when he was up there and let these guys know that he was a force to be reckoned with.
Oh, definitely, man. And the way he was riding, very similar to like we said about Styles Robertson. Guy looked like he had a good head on his shoulders. Like he was again seasoned. He was not letting the pressure really get to him that much, and he stayed pretty consistent. I mean, fifth in the third moto. If the guys were a little bit more, I guess, consistent with their finishes. I mean, the guys that were around him, I think it would have gave him a little bit more trouble with that fifth. But again, he rode the way he needed to, put in a good ride, saved what he could for points, and rode to a pretty decent win. That bike looked phenomenal. He looked like, literally looked like Ferrandis' bike just with yellow backgrounds. Really, really impressed. I think the one thing that got me about the B class this year was just how quickly these guys are going, and how quickly they got to this speed. Again, guys like LeBlanc, he wasn't on my radar, to be honest with you. I mean, it could be just me being, not into the scene as much as I should be, but I really didn't expect LeBlanc to hop on a big bike and be this good this soon. So hats off to those guys. Also, it was great to see Nate Thrasher in there. That's pretty much what KTM's new guy, right? He's probably the guy that people are pulling besides Max Volan. So that's awesome. But I wonder if you noticed this. Does he sound a little bit like McElrath, like last year almost? The way he's talking, the way he's going through his like podium speeches. The guy talks like he's like a 450 winner with two wins behind his belt and everything. He sounds so mature on the podium.
Yeah. He sounds like he has everything going. It's like that kid's been prepped already. So he's like already media trained.
Yeah, he sounds like he's been at this, man. The dude sounds so mature, man. It was like, wow, okay, cool, man. They make you practice this stuff, man. And he's obviously training in Baker's factory. So he mentioned that his stamina is probably the best in the class, and how could you argue with with the Alden Baker program? So some more notables. Chance Hymas, He got a title in the schoolboy, but the guy rode very, very good. Another guy who wasn't on my radar, and
Yes.
really, really started, I think, opening some eyes as well as some other riders to just again the level of talent in this class. We can go back if you look at Chan Timus, Almarine, Romano, Rios, and don't forget about Jet Reynolds, who kind of threw it away a little bit at the end with
Yep.
that gnarly crash he had. Pretty
Gosh,
pretty
that was definitely
solid,
that.
man. Pretty solid. It's a huge group of guys that are so fast. Manny, if Jet Reynolds did not have that DNF in the second moto, do you think he would have been up here to take it away from LeBlanc and Thrasher, or would those guys have had something for him?
I think him and Nate Thrasher really battle that. I think that becomes a three-way battle very quickly if he doesn't have that bad get off. I mean, you see it. It was. I don't know how he got up and walked away from that, honestly, but
Yeah, I mean,
it was.
it was bad. It was, and the Ten Commandments is probably the worst place to crash too, man. That's a whoop section on steroids, man. It's just the gnarliest setup. So, yeah, again, shout out to everybody. Number one, that made it to the ranch, and shout out to the top five. Matt LeBlanc reigned supreme in this one. It was pretty awesome. If we're going to the limited class, you can't talk about that without talking about Levi Kitchen, right? This guy is awesome, super talented, and again, like I don't think many people had this guy on their list as like, hey, he's gonna come out and go 1-1-1. Yeah, he's gonna be a front runner. He's gonna have his hands full, but also like he's gonna have to work for it. That
Yeah.
guy put on a clinic, man. If there's anybody in this class that you would say maybe came in as a favorite, I'd probably say Daxton Bennick over Kitchen. And Kitchen again
Oh yeah. Oh,
opened so many eyes.
name. Yeah.
Definitely. And he came in relatively unknown. And another thing to point out, this class of B riders, they're fairly young. Like all
Yeah.
these dudes are probably like just shy of 6 feet, and they're like 14, 15, and just whooping ass. So it's pretty incredible. So do you think this raises Levi Kitchen's stock moving forward? Like, is he gonna be the guy that everyone's talking about instead of like a Jet Reynolds or something like that? Is Levi Kitchen the man now?
I think it puts a lot more stock in his name, I would say.
Mm,
I don't know if he bumps a Jet Reynolds kind of up off the throne or some of the other guys that really have big names, like obviously a Daxton Bennett or something like
yeah.
that. But I think he let everybody know he's here to the party, and
Mm,
he's somebody that demands the respect. I mean, you can't argue going 1-1-1. So it's like
no.
there's
Nope.
nothing to say about it. Statement made. He went straight up.
Yep.
It's
It's gnarly, man. He came out and did his thing. So shout out to him. Another rider we gotta talk about is Luca Marsalisi. And we actually got into an interview with Luca Marcelisi. Definitely check that out right now. Okay, what's up, everybody? So we're here with Mr. Luca Marcelisi. Now, I just had to remind the dude that we actually rode together years and years ago. Both of us probably don't even remember most of it, but yeah, I wanted to get him on here. Me and Manny talked about him all last week. Really strong showing, Luca. Like, yeah, how'd you feel after such a successful week you had?
Yeah, it was a super solid week for me. I would say definitely only my fourth year at Loretta's, and definitely my best for sure. A little bummed on the outcome of the last two motos, but definitely a solid week to build off of and good moving forward. Learned a lot, and I'm ready for what's to come.
Oh, definitely. Plus, you got to feel good. Like I don't think it's a stretch to say you kind of came in under the radar, and now you left the week with like people's eyes opened up to who Luca Marcelisi is. That's kind of like a win in itself, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of people come up to me and just like say congratulations after my moto win, and even turning it down at MTF with Colin and Brian, obviously, and even little Brian told me that like a lot of people came up to him, like Tony Alessi and some other people, and like they're like, "Who is this kid? Like, I've never heard of him." So I mean, it was pretty cool, and yeah, I definitely think I opened some eyes and I proved a little bit of a point that I've been trying to make for a while. So it was pretty cool. Yeah, I was pretty stoked about it.
Oh, that's killer, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I was. That's one thing that like Manny and I talked about was like it's awesome to see like a New England guy go out there and really make a name for himself. And I know you're at MTF now, but we're still going to claim you as New England. So,
Yeah, for sure.
No, I thought it was awesome, man. It was definitely a great ride, and I feel like Manny, this was probably one of the most stacked B classes we've had in a while, right?
Definitely. This year was pretty stacked. It was full of action too. It was good racing.
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
yeah, it was gnarly.
Yeah, that was crazy. Definitely definitely want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to like rewatch, go and check out the B classes if you haven't. See our buddy Luca crushing it. So Luca, how was this year a little bit different than like years past? Not only for yourself and your program, but was the atmosphere or track a little bit different than it has been in years?
Yeah, so the past 2 years, I've been riding a little bit injured. Not most people know I had a shoulder injury. I was riding with a torn labrum
Mm-hmm.
and just some other stuff, rotator cuff.
Okay.
And I just don't like to tell people that stuff. It's not really a big deal. It's my own problem. But I recently got that fixed after Minios. So I took a while off, got that recovered, and it was a big difference. Never really realized how much it was holding me back with my riding and my training.
Mm.
So everyone down at MTF, after I got that all fixed up, we got me recovered, and we had a little bit of a different gym program this year. And I think it really showed with not even me, just all the riders at MTF with fitness and just confidence-wise. But I think just me racing pretty much from after my shoulder surgery with the super regionals and just like local races, I just kind of builded my confidence a little bit before Loretta's, and I think it showed pretty much there. And yeah, I just think the whole program at MTF this year and just being healthy, I had a different mindset going in there, and I think it helped a lot.
Oh, for sure, man. Having the right people around you, the right resources, like that's gonna make all the difference, man. Like that's crucial.
Yeah, I had such a great group of people around me. It was pretty cool to have that. I've never really had that before, and it was really cool.
That's awesome, man. So, what's it like a typical day of training at MTF? I know, like, a lot of people they think they know what it's like, but really, us normal folk, we've got no idea. What's it like in the world of MTF, man? Because that place has bred some of the best riders the sport has seen. So, like, take us through a day to day for you, man.
Oh yeah, for sure. Colin and Lil Brian and everyone there really know what they're doing.
Mm.
It's pretty much depends on like what time of the year it is. But like before Loretta's, the normal routine is like wake up around like 6:30. We have like gym warm up at around 7:30. Get a good warm up in, eat some breakfast and stuff, all that, and then we'll probably be on the track between 8:30 and 9. And Monday and Tuesdays are usually like shorter stuff, shorter motos like just sprints and just like shorter stuff just to get the high intensity. And then like Wednesdays, sometimes we have Wednesdays off, and Thursdays and Fridays are those longer motos, those 30s, to get us nice and fit for Loretta's.
There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if me and Manny could last a 30. I don't know. You've been working out more, Manny. Maybe you could last a 30, dude. But
I don't know if I
Yeah, I
got
think we got it.
yeah, that would kick my ass, man. So, like we said, it was pretty stacked B class. I think Manny watched pretty much every single lap, but from every single rider. um, who do you think was like the stiffest competition for you? I mean, obviously, as riders, we go in thinking that we're the baddest dudes, which obviously you proved in a moto. Who do you think, if you had to target one guy in the B class, who was like the toughest guy you think you would have to go up against?
Yeah, obviously, I would say everyone in that class and 250B and Schoolboy 2 and all those B classes, I would say Kitchen was definitely hands down the fastest one there, Levi Kitchen. Yeah, he was just super smooth and super consistent, and he really made no mistakes. I'd say him and Matthew LeBlanc were the two stiffest ones for sure.
Now you talk about making mistakes. How do you think the track developed throughout the week?
Yeah, so how Loretta's is obviously we ride every day, or some of us ride every day, and we have different motos, different moto times and stuff. Actually, mine was a little bit different this year. I rode Monday, Tuesday, or I rode race Tuesday, Wednesday, and I had Thursday off, and then I was done on Friday. But the track was really different this year compared to past years for me, anyways. Just like the earlier motos were a little bit softer than normal, like kind of didn't really get as rutted, and it was just kind of like they added some mulch this year, so it was really pushy. But those later motos were really gnarly. I mean, that's like my type of track. I like the later motos when it gets really rough and technical. That's why I like Loretta so much. It's just I think it kind of fits more my style. But Yeah, it was different than most years. I just say it was a little bit more pushy and just softer than normal.
Could definitely tell. That was one thing. I was like, man, a lot of those ruts, like, but when the broadcast came on, it came on at like maybe like race 7 each day. Like the ruts were like they would move a little bit. It was almost so soft.
Yeah,
So
it was really soft.
it's definitely weird. And the Reddit is a unique track because I feel like it's targeted towards like the 85s or 125s. What does it take to go fast on a full size 250 or 450 at Loretta's? Because it's not a usual track. It's not just the guy that holds it on the longest. You got to really be finesse with your riding. Like, what's it take in your opinion?
Oh yeah, for sure. You really got to be just focused and not really try to make any mistakes. But I'd say just obviously the more momentum you can carry and just not use your brakes a lot. And yeah, it's good to like shorten the track up with those insides. But I mean, even like with my later motos in my second 250 stock moto, like I was at 5:00 in the afternoon. So the track was obviously pretty gnarly, and just all those outsides. I mean, it worked out. Kitchen was gone. Hands down, he was riding really good. And obviously my starts weren't the best, but I came from the back that moto. I got second, and I was just running all those outsides, and they were super smooth compared to those insides, and you can just flow and just keep the momentum going and not breaking. It just took a lot less energy for me personally, and I just think it helped me just push through the whole moto, and just I kind of had fun with it. I'm not gonna lie, so I mean that also helped.
There you go. That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Kitchen, who had a great ride. LeBlanc had a great ride as well. What level of support do you have? Because I know a lot of these guys, they pretty much inked deals that season on through their first year in pro and stuff. What's the level of support that you have, and how does that compare to these guys? And do you feel like there's a discrepancy between the two? Is it like you feel like you're right on par with those guys, or do you feel like they might have a little bit more than you do in terms of resource?
So right now I'm just kind of like, my dad's obviously my biggest supporter of my family in general.
Big
And I have a lot of help from pro circuit and stuff, but I mean, it's obviously not factory support. And I get a little bit from bikes and stuff, nothing crazy, but obviously just working to get as much as I can. And like, no, nothing taken away from like LeBlanc Kitchen and them, but LeBlanc's bike is just, those things are insane for sure. But they were riding really good all week, and I think Loretta's is like probably one of the only tracks that bike doesn't really matter. So, because it's just so tight and so technical that the rider helps. But their bikes definitely help for sure. I mean, they have a great group of team around them, and I'm sure their team knows a lot. And with me, I'm just kind of working with my mechanic and little Brian and my dad and trying to figure stuff out on my own. So I'm sure having a team around you like that helps a lot with like just bike setup and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, to me, that shows, you went out there and did it kind of like grassroots. Like you said, like your dad, your trainer, your mechanic, real small circle. To me, that proves a lot more, man. I mean, the fact that you're able to go out there and beat some of these guys that have the big teams and support. Hats off to you, man. That's freaking incredible, dude. That just goes to show what tenacity and talent you have, and I'm kind of excited to see what happens for you in the future, man. So yeah, what is your future? What are your plans for rest of 2020 and 21, man? What's next in store for Luca Marsalisi?
Yeah, so I'm just chilling right now back home, getting a little break.
But
heading back to heading back to MTF soon to get back to work with Colin, Lil Brian, and everyone there. I haven't decided what I'm gonna do yet. It's either I want to go A at Minios, but we'll see what the plan is and if any like deals or anything like that come in. But definitely A after Minios, and then Pro after Loretta's next year. So getting excited.
There we go. Any teams knocking on the door yet? Anybody want to sign the 7-2 yet?
I haven't heard anything yet. We're hoping though. I mean, maybe some little deals here and there. Nothing factory that I know of yet. But we're talking to some littler teams, and nothing's official yet. But hopefully we get something.
Okay. Manny's got mad money, so if you need something, he'll hook you up.
For sure.
Well, Luke, I know you had some people that you mentioned before, but who's helping you out for this year, man, and who helped you get that win? Who are the guys that are behind you?
Yeah, for sure. I'd like to give a huge shout out to my mom and dad. I wouldn't be here without them. Everyone at MTF, Colin, Little Brian, Lauren, Jacob, B-Red, Big B, Pro Circuit, Thor, EVS, Garnet, Rhino Power, Deep South Kawasaki, just everyone and everyone I forgot, thank you. It's been a super big help this year. I think this year is a success, and I'm ready for what's to come.
Definitely, man. Again, Luca, super amped to see you get up there, top step of the podium at Loretta Lynn's. That's an accomplishment, man. You should feel good. Really excited to see what happens now. Excited to see what happens at Minios next year, year after that. I think you really opened up some eyes, and I'm stoked to see you get up there, dude. So, thanks for taking the time. I mean, we really appreciate it. Join our janky little moto show here, and man.
No, thank you for having me.
Oh, no worries, man. We really appreciate the time, man. And yeah, get out there, enjoy your time. But I know you're gonna get back to grinding pretty soon, man. So we'll let you go.
Sweet, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.
All Definitely, right, man. Take care. Okay, so that was Luca Marsalisi. We were amped to get him on. Luca had a really good ride, like we mentioned in the interview, going 4.25. Pretty solid for a guy that came under the radar and really is not a household name. Not many people know about Luca, and is the fact that he's at MTF and really grinding it out. A guy that we're claiming as New England guys. Look solid, man. He had a really good ride.
Yeah, he looked good. It was great to hear from him, kind of on his experience, and kind of what his mindset was going into Loretta's this year. Yep. And then kind of what that looks to be moving forward. I think he made a name for himself. I'm glad to hear that he's excited to possibly be going up to A class for next year. And I'm really excited to kind of see what the future has to hold for him.
Oh, 100%, man. I'm excited. I think a lot of people are talking before we even get to the schoolboy side. I think 2021 is going to be the biggest open pro sport class that we've ever had of guys that are actually like title threats. There's literally going to be 10, 15 kids that could win any given moto. And on top of that, they're going to be better than they are this year. They're going to have a whole extra year to train, to get their bikes dialed, to gain some weight, get some man strength, and come into open pro sport. Manny, what is that going to look like for next year? Like having that much talent, that much depth in an open pro sport class, like what's going to happen?
It's going to be super stacked. And the crazy thing about it is there's going to be people that are going to be like title threats that don't even have rides locked in. And that's going to be the even more thing to keep an eye on, because these guys are going to be really riding for that pro spot. It's like none of them want to come back. So it's like.
Exactly. I think it's going to be crazy. I would not want to be a talent scout in the next year. I mean, it's almost like, well, damn, who do I pick? You know what I mean? All these guys have such potential. All these guys have such talent. It's pretty much like you're already lining up the top 10 for Supercross in 2022, 2023, which you essentially are. I mean, you're pretty much claiming the top 10. So I'm so ecstatic for this, man. I'm really excited to see how it comes down. I think literally when you get to a crop of kids like that are all, number one, and crazy talented on great teams with great support, it's going to come down to the minute details, man. Like who has been training off the bike to get their stamina good? Who's been running that extra mile or doing that extra little bit of work? Who's nailed their starts? Who's been looking at line selection a little bit more than the other guys? So I think all that stuff comes into play, and it's going to really make these guys much better riders. So I think us as a collective, no pun intended, as a collective of motocross fans, we're going to be in for quite some cool things, I think, next year.
Definitely.
All right, Manny, take us on to the next class, sir.
Okay, so do we want to talk about 450B?
Let's go to 450B. Okay, another one that we have where Matt LeBlanc was kicking ass. I think I'm, number one, again, shocked that a guy that pretty recently moved up to the big boy class hopped on the 450 and rode as well as he did. I got to give a shout out to Luke Kalatian too. I don't know if you heard the story on this guy, but picked up by the Moto Concepts team. Tony Alessi saw this guy, saw potential, and Tony Alessi is probably the one guy that knows Loretta Lynn's better than pretty much anyone. It can tell you how to go fast and what you need to go fast. Took the guy under his wing, gave him a bike, and apparently this guy was running similar lap times to the top 10 450 guys. I'm hearing like Cooper Webb and all these other fast guys. So yeah, definitely there's potential there, right? We can work with speed. Everyone says it. All the team owners say we can work with speed. So shout out to Kalatian, who that bike is not his bike. He hasn't had much time on it and still managed to come out with the second overall. So
Shout out to him.
that says something. Definitely expect big things out of this guy coming in the coming years. Maybe even as soon as Minios if he continue with the support from Moto Concepts. Tried and true team, as you all know. Also, we got our boy Luca Marsalisi that came out with a first in the first moto, really solidifying himself as a front runner in the class and going up against, again, very heavy hitting guys. The Luke Galatian, Matt LeBlanc, we got Curler, Matson, like just some very, very fast guys. All the top 10 in beats are just absolutely on fire. And for Luca to come out and do that, a win, pretty phenomenal, man.
Yeah, I was super gutted for him, in that third moto with the crash. I mean, he was really in contention for the title right there. I mean, so what he was able to do this year and really show everybody, he has that speed to run up front, get the moto win, put his name on the map, battling up there, with the Matt LeBlanc. So it was great to see. I'm excited to see him come back next year, honestly.
Okay, so if you have to pick one guy out of all these B classes, who's got the sauce going into number one, Minios, and number two, who's holding the class by the neck next year? If you have to pick one of the guys moving up, who is the man for next year?
Are we talking 450 B, 250? What are we talking? I mean, I know some of it's overlap, but
I'm saying out of the guys that are going to be A next year, out of the class that's graduating B class this year, who's the guy that's gonna have it? I'm going to say B class overall because I'm going to combine 450 and 250. Who's the man that's going to be like, this is my class. I'm moving up. I'm getting a Horizon Award. Who's that guy for next year?
I don't know, man. It's hard to. Who do you have? And then let me see if I play devil's advocate.
I'm going to go with a rider like I like Thrasher. I like the people that Thrasher's around. So Thrasher's great, but he also has a good group of people behind him. I also like Kalatian. Now, he's a little bit unproven because he hasn't been on that ride for too long. But when you have a guy that's running lap times close to top 450 guys, and he comes out and gets second on a bike that he really hasn't ridden against some of the best riders in the country, who already have like factory rides pretty much, that's going to be something, man. Those two guys. I mean, again, Romano, LeBlanc, Marcelisi, Reynolds. These guys are awesome, but those two guys, man, it's serious.
Yeah, I think those two guys are really serious, but you can never count out Jet Reynolds. Honestly, he's obviously a guy that you're going to keep your eye on. Yep. And I've always kept my eye on Romano. That kid is super fast, and he has so much style. So I love watching him ride. So like it's kind of like how we were saying earlier, that class is going to be super stacked next year.
Oh, definitely. It's going to be ridiculous. It's going to be crazy. If we go to the 450B limited or stock class, again, like we talked about, we've got Kitchen going 111. Another phenomenal ride. No different than the 250 B limited. Extraordinary. Yep. Extraordinary. Kalatian coming in with a second there. Shout out to all those guys that, again, put up a good fight in the B class. Guys, hats off. One of the most stacked classes we've seen in years. Really, really awesome. All right, Manny, where are we going to next, sir?
Okay. Let's take it down to some of the smaller bikes then. So let's go with let's check Schoolboy out. So that was another very good class. I watched a lot of exciting races. Chance Hymas, Nate Thrasher. That was a good class to watch. What'd you think of the racing?
I thought it was awesome, man. I think this is another carryover from B class. So I consider Schoolboy like a overflow B pretty much. Again, it's just great racing. And then the fact that I think Chance Hymas won just threw everyone for a loop. I mean, if you look at the guys that are in this class, you've got Jet Reynolds, you've got Nate Thrasher, and you've got Amarine. Those three guys are solid guys. Those are the next best next best thing coming into the pros at the end of next year. So I think again, like Hymas just fell under the radar. For him to rise above and really capitalize and go 2-3-1, stay consistent and win the last moto to break the tiebreaker. That shows some heart. And if you saw that last moto, the way he was racing the track and the way he was clicking off lap times, it was insane. Thrasher was crushing it. Thrasher was fast. he was moving, and Hymas bested and still came through. I mean, to dice through a pack of Thrashers and Reynolds, and some of these other guys, you got to be on fire. And Chance Hymas just showed that. So hopefully, a lot of people have him picked on their radar as somebody who's going to be another threat for next year.
Oh, definitely, he's going to have a target on his back next year.
Oh, definitely.
Let everybody know, that he has speed, and it was great. It was great to watch.
Oh, 100%. Definitely. The other schoolboy class, we can't mention two-stroke without talking about Max Volan.
Oh my gosh, that's another guy that you can't even mention that class without him. Total domination.
Yep.
Of 125 and Schoolboy 1 class this year.
Yep.
I mean, there's not much you could say there. I don't think I had one negative thing to say about his performance the whole week.
The only thing I would say about has nothing to do with his riding. The dude's gear was way too tight, man. and the crop top jersey. Why was the jersey cut so low?
Speed.
What are we doing, bro? Like he making a video or something. Like, bro, come on.
So I think he had one of the 50 riders jerseys on.
Yeah, that's the only thing. But again, it's all jokes. But hats off to Volan, man. Looks solid. I don't think I've seen a two-stroke look that badass in a while. One guy that I thought would have something for him was Talon Hawkins, and we've reposted some of his stuff. That dude is swaggy as all hell, and I thought he would have just a little bit more for him, but still second place in front of some very fast guys. You can't be too angry about that one.
Oh no, can't be mad at that performance at all.
Exactly. Shout out to your boy Junior Reyes. Following that dude since 65s. Making Houston proud, putting H-Town on the map. Here we go.
He was super fast. Great to watch him all week as well.
Oh, exactly. All right, Manny, where are we going to next, sir?
All right, so let's talk about that super mini class. It's time.
All right, so with number 23, killing it, absolutely killing it. 6 for 6, got the mini rider of the year award. Which that in itself is pretty amazing. How do you get any faster than Ryder DiFrancesco? The things that he was doing on the track on a super mini, the lap time, number one, insane. Sending that jump into the sand, the second whoop, insane. The way he was killing corners, insane. Yeah. And then the racecraft this kid has at such a young age is ridiculous.
Ridiculous to watch, honestly. It's he's ahead of his time, honestly, with just his fundamentals and techniques and the way he dissects the track. It's ahead of his time, honestly.
I mean, I have to agree. I mean, going up against Gavin Towers and Evan Ferry. I mean, Evan Ferry is a force, man. This dude is so freaking fast, and the way that he yarded and pulled away, didn't let the nerves get to him, didn't panic like most young kids do. It was phenomenal. I mean. Let me ask you this: is he one of the best super mini riders that we've seen like ever? Would you put him up against a Stu or let's go to Alessi or AC? Like, do you think those guys would have their hands full with him and vice versa?
He's building a resume. Honestly, he's really building a resume that's hard to argue with. Honestly, you know, it's. The last time we've seen somebody, come in with the hype like this was an AC who was just smoking everybody and looking kind of out of everybody's league, which is it's crazy. It's almost like you want to say something bad or try to pick out something, in his game. And it's just like he comes out and it's like, if he doesn't crash, he's going to win. Literally, like, so.
I really like, I'm almost flabbergasted. Like, what can you say about this kid? He's been winning, like it's easy for him last week. Like, I really looked like he was like, didn't have much pressure or stress, even when he didn't get the whole shot or the jump. He still was like, oh, I'm cool. I'm gonna lay back. I'm gonna run these consistent lap times, get around these kids, and I'm gone. Like I got work to do. You know what I mean? So I was very, very impressed, man. That was like almost an all-time race for him last week, and that was phenomenal. If we go into Super Mini 2, Same thing, crushed it. Evan Ferry tried. Evan's a super fast guy. Probably, honestly, on any given weekend could probably get just as good as DiFrancesco, but it was just Riders weekend, man, and he rode phenomenally. One thing I want to head to kind of wrap this up is the mini senior class.
Mm-hmm.
So another rider that went 6 for 6 is Hayden Vegan. Now this is the 85 class, still like 12 to 14, so super mini age. Typically, we don't see much consistency. We see, we could see some kids go 2-3-1 or 1-2-3 or whatever like that. For them to go 1-1-1 in an 85 class, that is some serious business. And Danger Boy was like he didn't stress at all. Again, he rode just like DiFrancesco. I think both those guys, like, they came in so prepared that they really didn't get much pressure from the guys around them. And Deacon's riding against Logan Best, Christian Janik. I mean, those guys are fast, man. They are absolutely hands down fast. And he just came out, got his good starts, and just ran away from everybody.
Yeah, literally, it's like he got out front, sprinted away from everybody for a couple laps, and then it's like he put it in cruise control, honestly. And it was just, it was amazing. Like he was doing a couple sections that people didn't even pick up on, and it was just like, it goes to show, his racecraft and just his technical ability at that level is just, you can really see the work that he puts in.
No, exactly. And a lot of people say, like, yeah, he's doing the vlog live and it's all whips and blah blah blah. Throw that out the window, man. This guy has solid technique, trains his ass off, and makes sure that he hones his craft. And he looked absolutely phenomenal. That was one of the coolest rides I think we've seen outside of like a Kitchen or a DiFrancesco. And look for this kid in Super Mini. I think it was really smart of him to race 85 this year and then Super Mini next year and give himself some time to size up and to really become even better before he hops up to big bikes.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see him on the bigger Super Mini bike and see what he does.
Definitely, he's gonna have his hands full, but it's it's gonna be good. I also want to give a shout out to JJ Jordan Jarvis, my favorite track walk partner. She went 1-1-1 in women's. Jordan is a force. She's so freaking fast. One of the most likable people in the pits. And put the hammer down. I mean, Manny, she had really no competition for her. It looked like these are fast girls. These women are so fast. And Jordan just looks like she was just trained and got herself head and shoulders above the rest.
Oh yeah. She looked like she was in a league of her own out there, honestly. And another one, watch her lap times, and you can see really just how fast she's really going.
Oh, definitely. I mean, the SGB bikes, you and I have been up close to personal with those bikes. They're solid. Jason does an amazing job. He's been a big supporter of the program. Guys, if you need suspension work, hit up SGB Racing. Tell him the Collective Experience set you, and he'll take good care of you. So many guys in the pits, from pro riders to David Villeman and everyone in between. All these guys go to Jason for their coatings, for their suspension support, for the gold valves, race tech support team. They do a phenomenal job, and I think Jordan's bike, the way it performed, was evident of just how good of the job those guys do. So shout out to them. And just to wrap things up, we've got the 40 plus class where everyone's favorite test rider Chris Kiefer went 1-1-2 and got the win and looked pretty swaggy. I will admit, looked solid. Best in our boy Treadwell. Treadwell is a Connecticut guy, New England legend, and I mean he ain't slow. So hats off to Kiefer, and going to Junior 25 plus. Brendan Shaw, a past TCE program rider, just really going fast, man. 2-1-1 over very fast guys. Jesse Wentland, I mean, that guy is a force, man, an absolute force. Guys like Robbie Marshall and everyone in between. I mean, Brandon had a great ride, made the FXR kit looked phenomenal, and had a good one. I mean, I do have one question for you. Next year, moving up, we talked about who's going to be the man in the A class. We talked about, maybe Volan killing it in the Bs, maybe having his hands full a little bit with Hawkins or like a Reyes or somebody. Who's going to be the man in the 85 class next year? So who was in 65 that was like okay, you know, they might have not got a title, or they got a title, but come next year, they're going to be the man.
Trying to think. The kid that I always keep my eye on is Kenyon Richards.
Yep.
Super fast.
Yep.
Super fast. Another New England kid.
Yep.
I don't know. I've seen him ride a few times. Dave, I don't know if you got a chance to see him ride. That kid is talented, and he's another kid that I really want to keep my eye on as he develops.
Yeah, you blue crew guys, man, you just stick together and it's like, but no, you're right, man. I mean, Canyon is he's very very fast. I mean, I don't know if all you guys have seen his Instagram, the way he trains with he rides with big guys. He rides with full size 250 guys, and he'll run them in, and he's not afraid to mix it up with the big guys. And I think once he grows a little bit, and gets used to the bigger bike, I think he's gonna be super super good, very very solid. I'm really looking at a rider like Ryder Ellis. I think it's gonna be cool. Team Green kid, he's still little, but as he gets up there, he can make something happen. And then Vincent Way, when he's once he gets underway with things, and his dad is probably one of the most talked about guys right now in the training world because of his work with AC and so many other guys. So, man, Loretta's it was awesome, man. It was awesome the whole way through. I think every class gave us something to talk about. I mean, there wasn't a boring class out there. Usually some years just like, oh, I'm not watching this class. Even the 50-plus masters gave us something cool to talk about. So yeah, we got to give it up to everybody that made this possible during COVID times. Very difficult to put a race on. So MX Sports and everybody that came on board, shout out to them. Gave us something to look forward to. And speaking of looking forward to something, we have the pros this weekend, Manny. It's going to be awesome to see the pros get back to racing. However, on the tight Loretta Lynn's track, what's that going to look like?
I don't know. I think all the talk is kind of going to be is do the pros that are most recently coming out of Loretta's, do they have an advantage over the guys who maybe it's been a little while? I don't know. I'm really excited to see what somebody like Jet Reynolds does on this track.
Yep.
Really familiar with it. Obviously, he has this speed. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have the advantage over somebody who's a little more seasoned or not. And then just in the 450 class, I'm just excited to kind of see how they attack this track.
Yep.
How lines develop differently from what they may have during the amateurs. Yep. What type of speed is there? I mean, there's only but so much speed you can pull out of the track like this. That's tight. But I'm excited to see kind of how they attack it and what sections they may do, how they attack the 10 Commandments. Are there different rhythms that they're doing? Things like that.
No, I agree with you 100%. I mean, it's gonna for me. It's gonna be tough because it's such a tighter track. I don't think the guys that were used to see being up there in the 250 are going to be up there. 450, you're fast. You can make it work. 250. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who feels like, oh man, this is my home. I've been riding this 8 times. This is, I got this. It's going to be very interesting to see. I think we're going to have a lot of guys that get arm pumped because the track is so tight. But other than that, I'm excited, man. The bad news that we all just got recently was Roxon's not racing, giving himself time to heal, which honestly I think is smart for a guy that just went through the physical ailments that he did at the latter half of Supercross. Bummed as a fan that we won't be able to see him out there mixing it up, but hopefully he comes back swinging in 2021 and kicks some ass.
Yeah. Bummer for him. But another thing on an exciting note, he does have a little one on the way.
Yep.
So, thoughts and prayers out to him on that new journey that he's getting ready to embark on as well.
Exactly. Manny, we went through quite a bit. One thing that we do have to go through is the drip check for this week. So we got to talk about who looks swaggy at Loretta Lynn, who had the sauce on them all weekend, even though if they might not have won a race or won a title, but still look pretty good. Who are you going to for your guys?
My guy, I think who had a lot of drip on him was Ryder D. I like the Fox. Yeah,
exactly.
That stuff was really good to me.
It was dope. I have him on my list as well. The throwback neon and purple. He made it look even better because he was getting low over every jump, and that adds 10 bonus points. Another guy I got on my list is Brendan Shar with that red, black, and white FXR gear. FXR, huge sponsor of our show. Bringing us, amazing prints like the limited edition up this side Revo stuff that I have hanging up. Absolutely love it. Super vintage, super quality. And it keeps my fat ass looking decent on the track. Super stretchy, so I can give it over these thighs. And it's at an amazing price point, super durable. I absolutely love it. You guys will too. Check out fxrracing.com. And Manny, who's your third person that you have?
I did like Danger Boy's kit.
Yes.
One of the motos I saw him in that blacked outdoor gear. That looked really good.
He looked good, man. Literally looked phenomenal in that. I thought it was pretty dope. Like, it's not often that you see an all black kit from like one of the bigger name companies. But also like one that looks cool with your whole kit head to toe. And I thought he made the damn thing happen with that setup. So he looked good. Yeah, everybody, if you want to look drippy, if you want to get on drip check and have yourself analyzed by me, guys, I promise you won't find anything better than the FXR stuff. It's really going to set you up nice. Manny and myself both rep FXR. We absolutely love it. Like I said, great quality at a great value, very good price point, and they have some of the dopest setups that you can imagine. So please check them out at fxrracing.com. Manny, we had got into a lot tonight. Loretta's came and went, and I'm excited for this weekend. I'm excited to do this again for episode 3 recap of the outdoors. It's gonna be good, man. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for the season to kick off, and we'll be back.
Exactly, we'll be back. Manny, I appreciate the time, brother. Guys, please make sure you share this, like, subscribe. Check out thecollectivexp.com for our program debuting this weekend, coming to a national near you. We want to get you hooked up. So please check out thecollectivexp.com. Manny, we'll see you next time, and thank you guys for watching.
I can never lose to you. I can never lose to you until go bull. I can never lose to you. Hey, hey.